What's up everyone? In this video I'll be making some floating shelves, so follow along if you want to see how I do it. I make all of mine out of 3/4 inch birch ply, which you'll see here in a second. I like to cut all my pieces to size, and then I'll transition the blade over to about 45.5 degrees and cut all of my miters, and we'll get to assembly later on. So stick with it, you'll see how it turns out. Alright, so right here I've got all of my pieces cut to the dimensions I need to make the shelves. Got my Wixie digital angle gauge. I'm going to get the blade set up to 45.5 degrees and then start cutting the miters. I'll usually get a scrap piece that's the same width as my stock I'm using and run that through there, just inch up to it until I get right on the edge of that top veneer of the ply, and run all the pieces through there and get on to the next step. Alright, so at this point I have all my pieces cut to size. I got all the miters in there. Right now I'm just lining them up the way those miters will fold together and making sure everything looks good. I'm going to put some painter's tape on there to hold the joints together, and then you'll see here in a minute I will fold them over the table, flip them over, get them all ready for glue. This part goes pretty easy, as long as you got everything set up straight, get your miters cut right, should be good to go. So you'll see I'm just kind of going slow so I can make sure I have those joints lined up tight, get that tape on there good, and then when I get to the end, I don't want the tape to stick over the end, because when I put that end cap on, it's going to be in the way. Once we get these all taped up, you'll see the final assembly. And right here, I'm just going to use the edge of the table to fold those miters. Make sure that tape stays nice and tight, and we'll flip it over on its back, get it out of the way, and on to the next one. So this one is ready for glue. Got all our joints taped up, ready to start throwing glue in there. I'm using Type Bond 3. That's usually what I have on hand. I think Type Bond 3 is for interior or exterior. 2 may just be for interior. I don't think it matters much. In this case, these are obviously going to be inside. But anyway, I put a bead on both sides, and then I'll use my silicone brush there to spread it around. Then we'll fold the shelves up and tape the ends in place. You'll see that whole process here. little spready. Now that I've got the first one all glued up, you'll see how those miters just fold together, making sure it's supported when standing up. And I will grab my end piece here in a second. Any second now. Got the end cap there. Getting a piece of tape ready to support it when I stick it up there. And again with the glue. Once I have the glue around all three edges, again with the silicone brush, and we're putting it in place right now. I like to line up the top first, get that top piece of tape on there just to hold it from falling anywhere, and then we'll put tape around the sides and make sure everything's kosher. All right, kind of skipped through things here. I didn't want to make you sit through 10 minutes of shelf assembly, but we're on the final one here. You can see I'm making 4. I've got 3 in the background there. Getting the last one put together, and we'll let these dry and get on to sanding them here in just a few minutes. Show you what we've got so far on these miters. I will go back anywhere there's imperfections, put a little wood filler. Doing pretty good though. We'll give it about an hour or 2 to start setting up, and we'll take the tape off and start working with them. Right here I'm making the frames for the shelves. You can see I've just got some scrap ply, put it together with glue and brad nails. Typically I will reinforce those with screws, but these are such small shelves, I'm not concerned with it. I think the glue will hold it up plenty fine. And I like to use plywood instead of pine, just because I think it's more stable. Made these out of 2x4s in the past for bigger shelves, and you make the frame and set it to the side. Next day it'll be all twisted apart, so stick to plywood for now. Now on to everybody's favorite part, sanding. Got my DeWalt cordless. That's my go-to for everyday sanding. Hooked up to a shop vac dust collector. I do have a couple other sanders, but just for general use, this is what I typically use. Making sure to get all of the glue off. This is them fresh off the sander. All right, getting back to these shelves, got to finish them up. Client wants these painted white. Usually they're stained, but I don't care, whatever they want. Got a tack cloth here. It's from Lowe's, Home Depot, whichever. And wipe off any dust before I start painting. I am not a professional painter. I don't have a preferred brand of paint. I just get whatever available store I go to. Stirring up the paint here with a homemade stir stick. Just getting everything ready. Got our paint tray there. Pour a little bit in. And we'll get started. We're using a foam roller. You hear a little squeaky voice there telling you so. And go to town. Anybody else hate painting? Right up there with sanding for me. I don't know which one I'd rather do. Probably neither. But these are almost finished. This is the first coat here. I put a second coat on, which you won't see, but you will see the finished product at the end. Wrapping these up here. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like anything you've seen here, please subscribe and look forward to more videos.